I listened to my friend's advice and betrayed my husband with another man, but in the end she ended up with him while I was left alone and my life was completely ruined. I don't even know how to start writing this. Maybe because I feel shame, maybe because I'm confused, or perhaps because I still don't fully understand how I got here. I never imagined being in a situation like this, because I always thought I was clear on what loyalty and fidelity meant in a relationship. But now everything feels like a labyrinth from which I don't know if I can get out without hurting everyone I love. I'm 25 years old, and I have been with my boyfriend, whom I will call Austin, for 2 years. He is also 25. Our relationship has not been perfect, but until before what happened, I considered it stable. With him I always felt calm, a type of security that I had never experienced before in my past relationships. Austin is responsible, patient, and very affectionate with me. Sometimes I feel he is even too good, as if he has no really serious flaws. Of course we have arguments, but never anything so strong as to think about breaking up. What has always impressed me about him is that at his age he already has his own house and a car. It is not that he lives in luxury, but he has known how to organize himself and work hard. That stability always made me admire him, because I'm still looking for many things in my life. With him I felt I could build a future. At the same time, I have my best friend, whom I will call Sophia. She and I have known each other since college. We became inseparable in the first semesters, and since then we have been in almost everything together. Trips, projects, family problems, breakups. I saw her almost like a sister. I trusted her in a way I have rarely trusted anyone. What happened between us and what it triggered made me question to what extent I really knew Sophia. And worse, it made me question myself. The story began a few months ago, on one of those quiet nights when we go out for a drink after work. Sophia and I had this habit of seeing each other at least once a week, no matter how busy we were. That day we went to a bar we liked a lot, a small place with soft music and low tables. We drank wine and ordered some dinner. The conversation started as always, how we were doing at work, what we had seen on social media, gossip about acquaintances. But as the glasses went by, Sophia became more direct, as happens when she drinks. She started asking me things about Austin, about how the relationship was going, about our intimacy. I was a little uncomfortable, but it was not the first time we had talked about those topics. So I answered her honestly. I told her that Austin and I were fine, that I loved him, but that sometimes I felt a certain spark was missing. I did not mean something huge, just that the routine was already catching up with us. Work, home, sleep, repeat. Nothing that cannot be fixed with a little effort from both sides. Sophia laughed and told me something that I did not take so seriously at the time. You're getting bored and boredom is dangerous. Then she added with a tone I could not quite interpret, sometimes all one needs is to experience something different. I just smiled without giving it much thought. I thought she was being herself, with that slightly daring way of seeing things, but over the days that conversation stayed in my head. A few weeks later, Sophia invited me to a party. I'm not much for going to places with too many people, but she insisted so much that I accepted. Austin had work that night, so I went alone with her. The party was crowded. The music was loud and there was alcohol everywhere. Sophia was in her element. She danced, talked to everyone, laughed as if there were no tomorrow. I, on the other hand, was a little more reserved. I stayed with her, although my plan was not to drink too much, because I had commitments the next day. At one point in the night, Sophia introduced me to a friend of hers, whom I will call Marcos. He was attractive, nice, and very self-confident. He started talking to me with an ease that disarmed me a bit. I tried to keep my distance, but Sophia made sure to push the conversation further and further. She would say things like, "Look, you make a good couple. See how he makes you laugh? You needed that. If Austin does not get his act together, this guy is going to steal you." She said it between laughs, but I was starting to feel uncomfortable. I did not want to give the wrong impression to Marcos or anyone else. Still, Sophia's insistence made me stay there instead of moving away, as would have been logical. Marcos invited me to dance. I refused at first, but Sophia practically pushed me onto the dance floor, saying it was okay, that it was just for fun. I ended up giving in. We danced a couple of songs, and although there was nothing physical beyond that, I did feel a kind of tension. And the worst part is that Sophia was there watching with a smile, as if she was enjoying every second. When we returned to the table, she whispered something to me that left me frozen. "I saw you smile like you have not in a long time. You don't do that with Austin." That night, I went home with a strange feeling. Nothing serious had happened, but an alarm had gone off inside me. Why did I feel bad if I had only danced? Why did Sophia's words make me so uncomfortable? And above all, why did a part of me think she was right in what she said? From then on, things changed. Sophia began to insist more on the subject every time we saw each other. She always found a way to bring it up in conversations, that I was too young to settle, that life was short, that I should not limit myself. She even went so far as to tell me that being unfaithful was not the end of the world, that it did not have to mean I did not love Austin, but that it could be an experience for myself. At first, it bothered me to hear her talk like that. I would tell her no, that was not me, that I could not do something like that to someone who trusted me. She would just laugh and change the subject, but she always came back to the same thing. It was as if she were planting a seed and wanted to water it little by little. And although it pains me to admit it, over time that seed began to grow. I remember a specific afternoon that marked a before and after. We were at her apartment watching a movie. Sophia had opened a bottle of wine and we were relaxed on the sofa. The conversation inevitably ended up on Austin again. I was tired of talking about the same subject, so I told her half jokingly, half seriously, "That is enough. It seems like you want me to be unfaithful to him." She looked at me fixedly and replied, "It is not that I want you to, it is that I think you need to." An uncomfortable silence fell. I did not know what to say. I laughed nervously, hoping she was joking, but she was not. Instead, she spoke to me with a seriousness that disconcerted me. "I know you better than anyone. I know when you feel trapped, even if you don't say it. And now you are trapped. You don't see it, but you are." I tried to defend Austin, our relationship, myself, but Sophia always had an argument ready, a way to turn my words around. We ended up arguing a bit, and I went home confused, with the feeling that something was very wrong. In the following days, I tried to distance myself from her a bit. I did not answer her messages immediately. I avoided seeing her as much as before, but Sophia knew how to get close again. She would write me things like, "I only want what is best for you, and you are free, don't forget that. Don't let anyone tie you down." And in my mind those phrases began to mix with my own insecurities. Yes, I loved Austin, but I could not deny that the routine was weighing on us. I could not deny that sometimes I wondered if there was something more beyond what I had with him. And there was Sophia constantly reminding me of that idea. I don't know how I let everything happen so fast. A part of me still wants to convince myself that it was not my fault, that Sophia pushed me so hard that I simply fell. But deep down I know that although she influenced me, I also had the option to say no, and I did not. The night of the party was the breaking point. Sophia had insisted that I go with her because I needed a distraction. Austin was busy with some work things, so she convinced me with the argument that there was nothing wrong with going out with my best friend. The party was at the house of an acquaintance of Sophia. There was loud music, dim lights, and too many bottles of alcohol on the tables. I tried not to drink too much, but Sophia kept pouring for me. Every time my glass was empty, her hand would appear refilling it, laughing as if it were the most normal thing in the world. Marcos was also there. Since I met him, Sophia never missed an opportunity to get us together. That night he approached me with a confident smile and with comments that made me feel nervous and guilty at the same time. We danced, we laughed, and as the drinks went by, the line I had sworn not to cross began to blur. I cannot clearly describe the exact moment it happened. I just know that suddenly we were in a room away from the music and the people. What happened next was fast, almost inevitable, as if my mind was turned off and only the guilt growing in my chest remained. When it was all over, I left there feeling empty. There was no emotion or joy, just an unbearable weight. And the worst part is that Sophia was waiting for me in the living room with a look that made me uncomfortable. She did not seem surprised or worried, she seemed satisfied. "See, nothing happened," she told me in a low voice, as if she were reassuring me. It was just one night, just a mistake. No one has to find out. I could not even answer. I barely managed to get home that early morning, and I cried until I fell asleep. The next day, Sophia showed up at my apartment with coffee and a bag of sweetbread as if nothing had happened. I was destroyed, with swollen eyes and a lump in my throat that would not let me speak. She sat next to me, hugged me, and repeated over and over, "It is okay, really. This does not define who you are or what you feel for Austin. It is just a secret between us." I nodded with tears in my eyes, trying to believe her, clinging to the idea that I could hide it and move on. But that peace did not last long. Hours later, I received a call from Austin. When I answered, I heard his voice like never before, tense, broken, full of anger. "What did you do?" he shouted from the other side of the line. I froze. I did not understand how he knew. I could barely murmur a "what?" Austin cut me off abruptly. "Don't pretend." I saw everything. My blood ran cold. I felt the ground disappear from under my feet. The only thing I could do was ask, "What did you see?" He only replied, "The photos." At that moment, I understood everything. Sophia. She had been there at the party and somehow she had taken photos. My best friend, the person I trusted the most, had decided to give the proof of my mistake to the man I loved. I hung up the call and a heartbreaking cry came out of me. Not only for what I had done, but for the double betrayal I was experiencing. Without a second thought, I grabbed my keys and drove to Sophia's apartment. I did not knock, I burst in. She was in the living room as if she were waiting for me. "Why did you do it?" I shouted with a broken voice. She barely smiled as if everything was under control, but something inside me broke. Without realizing it, I moved towards her and hit her in the face. The dry sound echoed in my head. She reacted by pushing me, and in seconds, we were pulling each other's hair, shouting, rolling on the floor. It was then that Sophia threw at me the confession that finished destroying me. "Did you really think I never wanted Austin?" she told me with eyes shining with fury. "Since you met him, I knew he was the type of man I needed. Stable, hardworking, with a secure future. He is the path to success, and you have never valued him." I froze. She continued with a contempt she had never shown before. "You are immature. You don't deserve a man like him. And if I have to be the one to show him, I will." I did not know what to do. I was furious, scared, confused. But before I could react, Sophia took out her cell phone and with a calculated movement, turned on the front camera. She started recording a video, crying falsely while speaking in a pleading tone. "Austin, help me, please." Sophia came to hit me. Look what she did to my face. "Austin, I need you." "I'm sorry, I did not want to ruin all this, but my blood boiled seeing that she was cheating on you being so good." The tears were fake, but her performance was convincing. I tried to snatch the phone from her, but she turned the camera towards me and said with a trembling voice, "Sophia, friend, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, but my morals would not let me hide it anymore. We can still be friends." Then she turned the phone back to herself and moaned with a melodramatic tone, "Oh no, Austin, she is getting more aggressive. She will only stop with you. Help me. Forgive her, maybe it was just a one-night mistake." Before I could react, Sophia sent the video directly to Austin. Then, she looked at me with a cruel smile. "Now you will see how your little boyfriend defends me. Men love that, being the heroes of the helpless girl. And when you leave, he will stay with me comforting me, talking to me about the monster that you are as a girlfriend." And maybe, she made an intentional pause, I don't know, something else might happen at night, because I will also comfort the poor little thing with a broken heart. Her laughter pierced my soul. In a fit of rage, I slapped her so hard that the sound echoed throughout the living room. I did not stay to see her reaction. I ran out of her house with tears falling uncontrollably. Not even 20 minutes had passed when my phone rang. It was Austin. I answered with a racing heart, hoping for a chance to explain, but all I heard was his firm and cutting voice, "Stay away from us." Those words destroyed me more than anything else, from us. As if he had already chosen her, as if I had been relegated to being the villain of a story that Sophia wrote for her own convenience. I remained silent with the cell phone in my hand, listening as the call was cut off. The screen went dark, but my whole world came crashing down. It has been 6 months now since that day that still haunts me every night when I close my eyes. 6 months of silence, of absence, of memories that burn inside me like embers that never finish extinguishing. I thought that with time I would heal, that the pain would gradually dissipate, and that my life would somehow find its way again. But today when I opened Facebook, everything collapsed again. I saw it. I saw what I never in my life thought I would see. Austin and Sophia together. A photo so cynical, so brazen, that I still find it hard to believe it is real. In the image they are seen hugging, smiling as if nothing had happened, as if my story with him had never existed. Sophia was holding a bouquet of flowers in her arms, flowers that he surely bought for her, flowers that he also once gave me on our anniversaries. And to top it all off, what broke my soul the most was not the photo itself, but the caption Sophia wrote to publish it. I love you. Day 1 of infinity. Red heart. In that instant, I felt a lump in my throat, then a horrible pain in my stomach. I had to run to the bathroom and ended up vomiting as if all the poison I had accumulated inside me for months had found a way out. Something like this had never happened to me before. It was as if my body was rebelling against itself, as if it could not process the betrayal I was seeing with my own eyes. 6 months and they are already officially a couple. How long before did it all really begin? Was that time Sophia comforted me at the party nothing more than the beginning of her game? Did she plan everything from the beginning? Today, all these questions are killing me. The worst part is that in the post there were hundreds of comments from mutual friends congratulating them. What a beautiful couple, red heart. You two deserve the best. Finally together, you can see the love. And there I was in silence with the phone in my hand, trembling with rage, impotence, and disgust. No one really knows how it all happened. No one knows the hell I went through. To all of them, Sophia is the faithful friend who is always there, the one who sacrificed herself to tell Austin the truth when I cheated on him. That is the story she told, the role she played better than anyone, that of the martyr who could not live with her conscience and decided to reveal the truth. And of course, I was left as the villain, as the immature one, as the one who did not know how to value such a stable and good man. I remember every word she told me that afternoon when she hit me with her betrayal disguised as morality. You don't deserve him. I do. He is my path to success. And now, seeing that photo, I realize she got it. She did it. I feel used, manipulated, destroyed. And what hurts me the most is not that Austin broke up with me. What hurts me the most is that he never believed me, that he never gave me the opportunity to explain what had really happened, that he preferred to stick with Sophia's version, with her fake tears and her perfect performance in that video she recorded, rather than trust me, the woman with whom he shared so many years of his life. It torments me to think that while I was drowning in tears, while I was crawling trying to understand what I had done wrong, the two of them were probably already getting closer, comforting each other. And now, 6 months later, they are already showing themselves to the world as a couple. Are they not ashamed? Does their face not burn with cynicism? Today I decided to write this here because I need to get it off my chest. I cannot keep carrying this poison alone. And above all, I want other girls to read it and understand how dangerous it can be to blindly trust a friend. I fell into that trap. Sophia was my confidant, my shoulder to cry on, the one who told me everything was going to be okay, and at the same time she was the one preparing the ground to take away what I loved most. The most ironic thing is that she told me she loved me like a sister. What kind of sister steals her sister's boyfriend? What kind of friend waits for her friend to make a mistake to take advantage and keep what she had? That is not friendship, that is betrayal in its highest expression. And Austin, I guess he was not able to see beyond that. Maybe he never loved me as much as I thought. Maybe what he was looking for was precisely someone like Sophia, someone who fits into his world, someone mature in his eyes, someone who does not represent a challenge, but a security. Because that is what he always repeated to me, that he liked stability, that he admired people with clear plans, with a defined vision. And Sophia, with her mask of perfection, presented herself as that woman who fit into everything he wanted. I'm not going to lie, yes, I made a mistake. I cheated on him at that party and I hate myself for it. I hate myself because I know it was my fault for opening the door for all this to happen. But it is one thing to make a mistake and another very different thing to be betrayed by the person who swore to be your friend. It is one thing to ask for forgiveness and another to be buried by lies and manipulations so that another person can shine on your ruins. Today, as I write this, I don't feel like getting back with him. I don't want Austin back. Not after everything that happened. Not after seeing how he preferred to believe someone else before me. What I feel is rage, helplessness, and a huge sadness. I feel that they stole not only a boyfriend from me, but also a friend, and with that they took huge pieces of my trust. This is my warning, girls. Don't let yourselves be manipulated by those friends who seem perfect, who disguise themselves as support, but in reality envy everything you have. Don't be blind like I was, because when you least expect it, you may discover that the person closest to you is the one who most wants to see you fall. Sophia got what she wanted. She ended up with Austin. She shows him off on social media as if he were a trophy, as if the story had started in the purest and most beautiful way. But I know the truth. I know that everything was the product of betrayal, fake tears, the dirtiest manipulation imaginable. And although they are happy now, although everyone congratulates them, I cannot stop thinking that their relationship was born from a lie. They say that what starts badly ends badly, and I cling to that idea. Maybe one day, I don't know when or how, Austin will open his eyes and see who Sophia really is. Maybe he will discover that the same woman who swore loyalty to him was capable of stabbing her best friend in the back. And maybe at that moment, for the first time, he will remember what he lost with me. Meanwhile, I'm still trying to rebuild myself. I'm still trying to regain my self-confidence, although there are days like today when everything falls apart again. I just hope that my story serves for something, that at least someone reads it and says, I'm not going to let the same thing happen to me, because in the end the only thing I have left is to share my truth.